Welcome back to the Netherkast. It is episode 29. I'm Black Cyborg, joined as always by temporary username Shadaloo and Razor's Edge. How are you guys been?
This really only 29? Feels like it's been longer.
Yeah, well, I mean, it feels
I really
really
thought
long
this
to
was
me.
the 30th.
Feels like forever.
I'm coming to America next week. I'm going to see New York City for the first time in my life.
Nice. I live in America and I've not been to New York, so cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was to New York once.
All right.
That's
New York.
That's about it. I don't know what really to expect. I'm going to see the Museum of Natural History. I'm going to check out the 9/11 Memorial Site because my hotel's apparently like 20 minutes away from there in Chinatown or something. Battery Park. Tacky foam Statue of Liberty souvenirs. Go USA. I probably shouldn't be saying it because you guys just beat my hockey team in the playoffs, but I don't give a rat's ass about that. So
did we now? Huh.
Yeah, Tampa Bay beat the Habs. I don't know why we call them the Habs. Something about fur trading. The Montreal Canadiens yesterday by a bit of a margin after we almost came back, thus continuing to deprive us of any form of Stanley Cup since 1994.
I didn't know we had much going on for hockey. I mean, I knew we had teams, obviously, but I didn't know we had any sort of skills.
Oh, it's a matter of national pride, wounded national pride up here about how much better you guys are doing than us at hockey these days. Winnipeg doesn't even have a fucking team anymore. They're just Quebec City. You guys got him, and half your cities don't seem to want him. Don't do well with them. Not like I care. I haven't cared about hockey since 1994.
All right, well, let's stop fucking talking about it. Let's get to Jason.
He has a hockey mask.
Yeah, that was the segue, damn it.
Cyborg with the amazing segues.
Point it out, and you ruined everything.
So, yeah.
That was the joke. Real quick, I don't have a whole lot to say, honestly, but there's my pros and cons on Jason. Slasher is I feel the only real competitively viable variation. I haven't done any research. I've been completely out of the loop on all things in that regard. So
I haven't done any research. I don't play professionally or competitively. Right. I think he's the only competitive viable character.
This is from
Here's
my
what I know.
This is from my point of view.
I actually beat Temp and Django with Slasher, so it's probably broken.
Picks or it didn't happen. Picks or it didn't happen.
But yes, I don't know. I like the gimmicks on the other two variations, Unstoppable and whatever the hell the other one is, Relentless, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. I like the gimmicks in those. They're fun to use. They make you feel like Jason. But if you want to actually win and have the combo potential and damage potential and options, I feel like Slasher is really your only way to go.
I feel like Jason is the perfect example of why the variation system is dumb. Because if you had Slasher Jason plus the Lake Mist teleport plus the Resurrect gimmick, you'd have a whole character.
Yeah, he would be pretty crazy. I agree. We'll have to do some opinions on variations as a whole eventually in one of these upcoming weeks, because after we've had enough time with the game, I feel like there is something to be discussed there. Variations versus just more characters or whatever the hell we want to get into, or just the fact of without variations, you have all the moves available to you. But anyway, sticking with Jason. So I like his gameplay. His gameplay is honestly the only part about him that I really, really enjoy. Other than, which is probably the most important part, but visually he looks, it's Jason, but I feel like it's uninspired. I feel like that's the most
it's
bare
sort of
bones,
the safest Jason you could possibly do.
It's here's the jacket, here's the pants, here's the boots, here's the mask, and here's a machete. That's it. There was no real personality put into. He doesn't have the axe gash in his mask. He doesn't have.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's just
totally
missing.
gone with Zombie Jason with the spine sticking out his back.
Right, and that's another thing is they miss so many opportunities with this character. Now I'm getting into the cons aspect is they just missed several. His second fatality is quite underwhelming. There's no sleeping bag in it. He just smashes his opponent on the ground multiple times. I like the ending of it where he's just holding the leg. That's kind of humorous in a Jason way, but it's just getting to it is just really lame. The first fatality is good for the sound effects and the look.
Yeah, I love all the sound cues. Like, that's my favorite thing about the character is the camera angles in the first fatality and all the music, like the horror movie music.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
When he does the brutality or his entrance, the occasional ch-ch-ch.
Yeah, exactly. His intros, talking about his intros, I like both his intros, but I don't like that they're the only two intros. And then the fact that they are the only two intros, once again, I feel like that leaves a lot to be desired. I was one that was excited for Jason's intros. And I feel like we literally got two intros, just the two variations of whether the opponent starts the talking or he starts, well, not talking, but whatever, walks in first. So, I mean, why? These characters are supposed to get, DLC characters are supposed to get everything a regular character does. And we learned in MK9 that's not the case. They didn't get all alternate attires, or they weren't able to talk, which Jason doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I don't expect much from Tanya or Tremor in the way of intros either. I mean, at least they will speak, but I'm expecting a lot of placeholder-sounding ones, like very generic ones.
Yeah,
what are you doing
such
here?
A shame.
Aha! Now we must fight.
That's such a shame, and I think, I don't know, that bothers me that he doesn't have any alternate attire. He doesn't have more than two intros. His variation differences, like the looks I'm talking, he has a chain around his neck. He has his machete, or he has a chrome-looking mask, like a darkened mask. Like, what the fuck? This is a character with, like, a look. He has, like, a different look in each movie he's in, and there's been 12 movies thus far to go from. What the hell? Out of all the options, they gave him a darkened mask. They say chrome mask. It doesn't really look chrome. It just looks like this darkened...
it's more brown, which, I mean, like, it does look more brown in some of the movies, so that's fine, I guess. But again, like, it's just there's way more options that you could have.
Right.
And the thing that sort of bugs me is that the machete is not the only weapon Jason ever uses. His other variations, you could have had like a pitchfork or a shovel or
a spear,
all kinds of.
Yeah, he's fucking like a tree weed whacker or whatever the hell that is. He's had a fucking
look at the
screwdriver.
Let's be honest,
that fan game Terradrome.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, though. The machete is the only iconic weapon for Jason.
But I mean,
if you'd given him the machete in one variation, given him secondary weapons like an axe or whatever another, people would be like, why the hell are they making Jason use these crap implements? And that's my biggest problem with Jason. I have no urge to play anything other than slasher, regardless of how competitively viable they may or may not be, because Jason isn't Jason to me without that machete. It's what he kills people with 95% of the time. That's part of his image.
Why do you do this voice?
I don't know.
It's like you go like Italian mobster for like...
I get vaguely Latino when I'm upset, okay?
Right. Forget about it. I'll just forget about it.
He does voices. It's a thing.
All right.
I don't know why.
And then, okay.
Google.
I completely agree with you, Shadowloo. He should always have his machete, but I also agree with Razor in the sense that he's had so many different... The whole thing with Jason is he uses whatever's around him to kill his opponents. He uses all the different tools, which is awesome. There's charts out there on the internet if you search on Google, and they have awesome like graphic charts with every way he's killed somebody throughout all the movies, and it's insane how many different ways he's done it. So I just feel like that none of that's captured in this game. It's a lot of things about Jason aren't captured in this game. I feel like we were initially talking with his looks is also a lot about like the character in general. They nailed the core of what Jason is, but they missed a lot of the sizzle, a lot of the flavor, and a lot of just the interesting things that he's done throughout all the years. No alt means no Uber Jason. I'm not even a big fan of the Jason X version Uber Jason, but I know a lot of people are. So why not have that? Why not have his Part 7 look where he has a spine out and all the battle damage over all the movies like Razor was mentioning? There's so many different looks. Why not Zombie Jason in general? I think not having Zombie Jason with the darkened skin and the rotting flesh and all that is just, why would you... That's such a missed... Because Jason's never coming back. I think we can all agree that this was a one-off, just like Freddy. I don't think they're going to repeat DLC guest characters.
For sure.
Yeah, so you better get them right when you have them, or what the hell? I mean, I don't mean to sound like bitter, like, oh, I'd rather just not have him. No, believe me, I'm completely happy that he's in the game and excited that he's in the game. But in the same token, if you're gonna do him right and do him justice, giggity. But I mean, my point is just put everything you can into this character. Like they were talking about on the stream for Jason, they're like, oh, we were so, like, the whole team got behind this character, and I love that the team all got super excited about this character and put all their, put all this effort into it. Well, and it's like, where's the other looks of Jason? Where's the other gameplay elements you could have put in? Where's the multiple intros other than the 2 basic ones you have to have? And where's the fatality? Like, Jason, if there's Jason, you could easily come up with 2 fatalities that seem really inspired and fun and amazing. I liked Freddy's ones in MK9. I just felt like it fell flat here. Like we were talking about off the podcast with Temp and everything, saying it felt like they wanted to put a sleeping bag in that second fatality and just couldn't get it to work. Well, I don't know. Then don't do that fatality, because that just came off really, really generic. It came off like Ermac's telekinetic slams over and over again. It's just not a good way to represent the character. Having him pull out like 10 different tools and kill the enemy like that would have been neat. I don't know.
Here's the thing: is the missteps feels like they messed up on the really easy things. Like, I want to disagree on the variation system. I think the variation system is amazing, but despite variations, the core of the character should be in every variation. Freddy should not have a glove variation. Sub-Zero should not have an ice using variation. Right. That doesn't make sense. You got to capture the spirit of the character in every mode you can play them in. And Jason, I don't know. I mean, it just feels lazy to me. But
it's that fucking machete.
Yeah, and he does. Well, the thing is with his variations, he does all those things in every single movie. There was no Jason X Jason variation.
Yeah, see, that's what you guys are talking about. Like, the machete should be in every variation. I think the Lake Mist teleport should be in every variation.
They all should be in every variation.
He always does that.
Exactly. That's my point. Is they basically split up what makes this character, but he always does all of these things. He always does the little teleporty thing, or whatever you want to call it, in the movies. He always does the sit up to get back up and raise from the dead, so to speak, in every movie. Because he always dies at the end of each movie, or he always looks like that. That whatever the hero just did to him is going to put him down for good, and then he gets back up. Like, this is what the character is. You didn't need to split these up in 3 different things. The variation should have been done differently. I don't know. I like everything that he has, but like Razor and I was saying, and I think Shadowloo is of the same mindset, they should have all been there, especially the machete and the teleport and the raise. Like, that's what Jason those are the 3 things that pretty much essentially define Jason, and to split them up into 3 different things, I don't agree with that at all.
It sounds like there was a lack of inspiration. Like, they just didn't know what to do. And I could have helped him. I'm only a moderate Friday the 13th fan, and I could have helped him out on that. And people are complaining about the face. I mean, it's technically not in the game, but people hacked the PC version. We know what his face looks like. And honestly, I think it looks fine. It's not so much the face, it's the facial expression. He's kind of got this training day look on his face, and it doesn't feel very Jason to me.
What bothers me about the face is that, I mean, I don't care that much, because obviously we're not supposed to see it, so I can sort of excuse it in my head as they didn't finish it on purpose.
Right.
But Jason's whole gimmick is that he's like a waterhead baby. Like, he was born retarded and his head is deformed.
Yeah, he's a mongoloid.
He shouldn't have a head shaped like a normal human head under that mask.
Yeah,
and he just looks like a sleepy, wrinkly person.
Right.
The model in the game.
It's definitely a misjustice.
I'm very much of the same mind as Razor here. I don't really give a rat's ass because we're not supposed to, but the fact that they didn't bother to model it to be seen at least through X-rays, which are gonna happen to him all the time, inevitably, that kind of speaks to me about the amount of effort that went into this.
I kind of like it, to be honest with you. I like sophisticated-looking Jason. I like him when he doesn't have that dumb look on his face. It kind of, I don't know, it works for me.
Not as big of a crime to me as, say, not having Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger in your game.
Right. I'd agree there. That was really dumb for Freddy, but chime in on the Jason's face thing. I agree that we're not supposed to see it, so it's not a big deal to me, but then why even model it to begin with? Because from what we did see, it's like it was like a half-assed attempt.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
didn't
like
look-
they gave him a face, so you know if it were really just a placeholder you're not supposed to see, it should be completely blank. Like it should be the facial equivalent of a T-pose.
I remember
Why
reading
should
that
be like
someone
a fucking Mike Boon or some shit like that?
I remember reading someone had actually theorized it was like possibly a modified Injustice Lex Luthor model potentially.
I don't know. He even at his base look, if you look at Jason with his mask on and everything, he just doesn't look like a mongoloid at all. He doesn't look like he does. He's always had that bulbous head that just looks misformed.
His whole origin story is he's supposed to have like a deformed looking brow.
Yeah, even his eyes,
like making
though.
a Superman who doesn't have like black hair.
Yeah, and even his eyes don't really match what we see on screen, because his right eye is supposed to look all messed up, like he doesn't see very well out of his right eye. His right eye is pretty much, it's lowered down, it just looks completely screwed up. So yeah, I just don't think they captured that aspect. And his mask looks very, I don't know, like I said, the character, they just did, like Razor said, the safest version of the character, which is fine. You're not going to upset that many people by, like I said, they hit the core of Jason. So for that, I give them props. But if I'm nitpicking, and which I should, because this is the only Jason we're going to get, and it is something we paid for, and that not everybody's going to be happy with because it is a guest character, then you better, hit this one out of the park. And I think this was like a ground roll double or whatever the hell, where it hops over the fence, and it's not really a home run. You're just getting a couple bases out of it. That's just, I don't know. It's just, it leaves a lot to be desired in my opinion, but I'm happy with it as is. Just, I could be way more satisfied, I guess. So it's just disappointing. And I guess what disappoints me most is I guess they have to, but they always sell it like they did an amazing job. They're the first people to like pat themselves on the back with the Jason Master in the streams, and they're like, we really worked hard on this, and I'm so happy that everyone came together and everyone poured everything into this character and got behind the character. I'm so excited for our team. It's like, but where? Because you gave us a decent character. Where's the great character? Where's the amazing character that you're selling it to be? I don't know. That bothers me. They're the salesmen, so they're not going to be like, we did okay. We did okay. You know what? We
could
did
have done
okay
a bit
this
better,
time.
but overall not too shabby.
We really want to do something
It's
passable
solid
for
B
this
plus.
character.
We would like you to pay money for this.
We came to work and we
open a
punched clock.
negotiation.
So yeah, I guess, I don't know why it bothers me so much. Obviously, they're going to be the ones to praise it the most, but I don't know. I feel like the fans should be...
Some movie references in there, and I appreciate, what there is.
Right. Like I said, the gameplay
it feels
cool.
safe.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag.
It's creative, and when you have something out there, like, and I know maybe it's not the most professional thing to go, hey, look at this fan game Terradrome and copy what it did, but, sometimes, if somebody else has a good idea...
Yeah, Ryan's right. If they did it right, then they did it right. There's no way around that.
Yeah.
How much wonderful art is plagiarism anyway?
Can you really plagiarize when it's itself a game about, like, they don't own Jason, the guys who made Terradrome. They're making a...
It's
fan
saying,
art. You can...
Imitation...
NRS has ripped off fan art before.
I'm just saying, imitation leads to wonderful things in art. That's basically how a lot of music evolves. And yeah, debates as to who owns the character aside.
Well,
would give a rat's ass if they saw someone's working.
It's a cover song of a cover song, and nobody's at fault for that.
I wouldn't even think of it as a ripoff of Terradrome, because for one, Terradrome was never officially released because it got the kibosh before it really.
Yeah, and again, everything in Terradrome is based on something from the movies.
Right, and that was my second
point. The whole reason
point.
I'm referencing it is, these guys made a fighting game, and look at how they were able to take these things from the movie and turn them into gameplay elements. You could do that too.
Exactly. So that, no one could accuse them of ripping off Terradrome, because essentially all they would just say is, well, these were just in the movie. We took it from the movie. We didn't take it from the other game. The other game just took it from the movie as well. So we're just drawing from the same well, so to speak. But yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying. I don't know. That's all I really care. I guess his bio is pretty much what you'd expect, very short and to the point, and his ending is okay. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's pretty much what Jason was, and I expected what we got, and that's cool. I thought it was cool.
And he was going to kill someone.
But yeah, I mean, that's all I really personally have to say about it.
And I can't say I'm disappointed either. I mean, this character wasn't one of the things I was looking forward to anyway, but I wanted to be good for everyone else. You know, I want other people to find something they really dig about the character, and to some extent they have. Like, there's cool things about him, but it was never my cup of tea to begin with. So it's more analytics than it is criticism for me, at least. I don't know.
I give him a solid C+ on my character scale. Loses a point for the lack of a machete in all variations. Loses another point for missing elements that are crucial to the character. Loses another point for being a fucking guest character, in case you think I'm getting lenient about that shit. Anyway. But seriously, I'm having a lot of fun with him. Most people seem to be.
I have yet to play him. I have not even touched him yet. And I probably will touch him because I really like the Relentless. Like the whole like reversing the other characters like controls, like that looks like a lot of fun to me. That looks like a blast. So we'll see how that goes. I'll probably get into that eventually, but not right now.
Oh, I'm
having too much fun.
I can't wait for you to touch him and get into it.
I want to get into it hard. Like,
well, usually you have to be.
I don't think he's going to like that,
rope.
Tim.
But
he has a thing about people who treat children badly.
He's not a child.
Don't duffel
He
bag.
is, though. He really is.
At heart.
All right. I suppose next, let's get into the comic. I haven't read it, so I'm excited to find out what happens.
It's been 3 chapters since the last time.
Quite a bit.
And granted, I mean, even though it's been 3 chapters, not much has happened.
All right,
That's some good stuff,
like,
though.
Kotal-kun is still fighting the Shokan.
Let's bullet point it, or however you want to do it. I'm excited to hear what happens.
Where do we leave off last time? I got my hard copy here.
We last did 16, I believe. So 17
Right,
I mean...
Of note, issue number 6 of print came out just today. I've got that here.
Oh shit! I need to go get that then.
But there's nothing new.
Yeah, I just have the digitals, but I like to have the print copies just for collector's sake.
Same here, dude. Alright, so it opened up with the Sub-Zero Secret Origin. Flipping through that here. Use one hand because I just painted my nails. Being all dainty. That ended with Jax and Reiko having a face-off. Nobody threatens my Jackie. And then we got cut back to the Cage and Sonya and everyone else versus Shokan fights.
Yeah, issue 17 in a nutshell is the Shokan kill all of Johnny and Sonya's team.
Yep, pretty much.
Poor Sean Shamrock.
Yep, that was the dude's name. Sean.
He'll be missed.
Possibly named in reference to Himrick, but hey. Gotta give props to that one page where he's saluting with this absolutely psychotic expression on his face.
Yeah, right?
That's a scary fucking image. It's like, this was their pitch for an MK character select profile mugshot. God, that's frightening. Anyway, yeah. He gets an axe to the
This is
head.
a guy who clearly does not do well in on the battlefield. High pressure situations, he goes kind of all...
Split down the middle.
He's the Vietnam flashbacks kind of guy.
Let's see what else happens there. One of these NetherRealm Titans closes in on Sonya. She takes it with a couple blasts, then Kotal takes it from behind, cuts its head in half. And then we got Johnny running towards them, safe and sound, with a bunch of Shokan on his back, and...
Kotal touches him and gets into it.
Pretty much. Then Goreback and Kotal cross swords, and there's a lot of manly banter back and forth.
Okay, now you're just doing it on purpose, dude.
What? Doing what?
Crossing swords. I'm onto you.
Docking.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway,
it's dicks, dude. I know it's dicks.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that. No.
We get a lovely shot here of Devore penetrating a Shokan warrior with...
Come on now.
Now I'm doing it on purpose. Alright, so she takes down a Shokan, and Reptile saves her life from behind. And Tor gets his butt whooped by a gigantic two-headed NetherRealm Titan. And back to more sword clashing. And Gorbak plunges his sword into Kodal's chest and he goes, "How do you stop an unstoppable army? You will die before solving that riddle." And Kodal answers him, "It's the same way you stop the undead. Destroy the head." So he rips half of his face off and basically claps Gorbak's head into pieces. So Goro's daddy is now a dead daddy.
Tragic.
And, yep.
It's a shame.
And you got Devora busting through the Titan's chest like a facehugger, Reptile being kind of aggressed.
Can I say something quick?
Shoot.
With Gorbak dead, I've noticed fiction has a habit of any character who's called a prince or princess always has that title forever, whether, their parents are dead or not. I really hope that they, don't do that.
For whoever becomes king indeed. Like we don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Goro is still referred to as Prince Goro in, the bio in the game.
Probably, but then again, there is that matter of the disconnect. I can't...
Yeah, the comic is not as canon as we'd like it to be, I think.
I think we'll see elements from it being incorporated into the future.
Well, I hope one of those elements is not Scarlet's costume from this issue.
It's kind of generic, but we'll get to that.
She looks like a cyber ninja.
I need to see that when
I'm
you guys
glad
have
someone
time.
does.
Evangelion plug suit.
Maybe
What
I can
the
Google
fuck?
this. I'm kind of curious now.
Alright, we'll get there, dude. Hold your pants and your horses and your swords. Your swords in their sheaths. So yeah. Kodal says, "Hail to your king," and all the Shokan freak out, and they retreat back through the wall. And, they're all huddling up together, and Kodal's like, "If we win this war, we must sacrifice more people, and they're getting kind of desperate. And then Johnny faints from blood loss, nearly. So Shokan asshole bit him, so he says. And he apologizes to Sonya for the way Cassie is freezing her out. He was the same way at her age. And, he's about to say his last words, "If I don't make it out of here alive." And she says, "Shut up, Johnny, we're in this together." And he's like, "Aw, calling me Johnny again." So there's a nice little bit of continuity between the two. Those who feel that there hasn't been that recently. Anyway. So, Kodal decides that he'll hear no more challenges, and tomorrow he's going to protect the capital at all costs. Devora volunteers to guard him, and he says, "Nope, you will disable the true threat. Set sail for Shang Tsung's island tomorrow, take the Oathrealmers, find their daughter, find Reiko, and finish him." And he's not afraid of Goro, with which we cut to Goro as his dad's body is being burned. Kintaro's in the back, and he's telling him the Draco and Tigrar families reached a decision. Your injuries disqualify your claim to the throne. So, that's interesting, because now we have some confirmation that both families are apparently capable of having deliberations over who is eligible for the throne. This is interesting, because, we kind of figured till now that the Tigrar didn't have much in the way of rights, but apparently, according to this, they do.
Anyway. The Draco are supposed to be the royalty, and the Tigrar are supposed to be lowly peasants.
I guess Shokan society is a little bit more democratic than we thought. Anywho. So Kintaro goes, "When the battle's over, a contest will be held for the crown." And Goro wants to enter it. Kintaro cautions him that he's crippled and his dad's not here to protect him. Stand-up chap Kintaro is. So Goro takes off on a large, multi-horned flaming bison thing.
It's like a yak, but its horns are on fire.
It's actually pretty cool. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I really like it.
So we go back to Kodal here, who is freaking the fuck out because someone stole his dagger. He threatens Devora, who swears it wasn't her. And he feels his connection to it fading, its power is leaving him, and Zunkara is doomed. And we cut back to Shang Tsung's island. The dagger has been stolen from Kodal's own chambers by Scarlet, who, yes, really does kind of look like a cyber ninja. Doesn't look at all like anything she's ever worn. It's just this jet black ensemble with some shoulder padding and kind of a red loincloth and her normal mask and her lovely flowing red hair.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It doesn't look good. It doesn't make sense. Why does she have the loin guard if she has a full bodysuit on? Why does she look like Special Forces? I don't get it.
It's pretty terrible. It is. So
again, why does she have all these holes like an Evangelion plug suit? She's a blood golem from Outworld.
Maybe
well, I guess that's why the plugs are there, so she can emit blood, but she shouldn't have a suit at all. She's a golem. She should have the versatility.
Her power is to absorb the spilled blood of her enemies through her skin and get stronger. She's not bearing any skin. How's her power supposed to work?
The holes, dude.
It's just sprayed all over her face, maybe.
I agree, it's dumb, though. I'm not defending it. I mean, it just
all
doesn't...
over her face.
If it looked good, I would defend it and rationalize it, but it doesn't look good.
What? It just...
If it was at least different shades of red, I could...
good, it doesn't fit the character, and that's my problem with it.
If it was at least different shades of red, I could maybe get on board with it. Maybe if, like, the segments...
Yeah, like, the color scheme is a big problem. It's black and blue. Like, the only red on her is her hair, mask, and loincloth.
Ah, well. In any case, she gives the dagger which she's stolen to Havoc. And he says Reiko chose her wisely. And you see that she's done this because he's mastered blood magic and she wishes to apparently learn it. And he says, you will learn it, but first, I have in my possession the heir to an ancient warrior power that can be taken. But to extract it from her, our little warrior has to fight. And he checks in on Cassie, who's shackled by the neck in a dungeon full of bones and skulls and whatnot. And that's where that print issue ends. We've had another digital issue come out since then, actually. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's an Outworld
Chapter 19 came out on Sunday.
Yeah. Outworld, I mean, if you want to cover that one, Razor, while we're here, because I don't have it with me right now.
Alright, so it starts with a flashback to Kotal Khan's coronation, big speech he's giving to Outworld. Basically just showing sort of his connection to the people of Zunkara and how much he cares about the city. And then it cuts to the present, and, he's, like, worried that the city is going to be destroyed, so he's, like, going to give himself up to the Shokan. And basically all of his advisors, Reptile, Devora, Ferrator, they're all the whole issue is them telling stories of how they met Kotal and why they respect him as a leader and don't want him to give himself up. And Reptile's story is basically a flashback to the tournaments, and he admits that he lost every fight and he constantly failed Shao Kahn, and the only reason Kahn never executed him is because Kotal asked for Reptile personally to be a member of his extermination squad. Because he says Shao Kahn would rather conquer another realm than rule the empire he had, so I did it for him. Good spies are fine tools. You don't send them into death matches.
I actually like the Kotal and Reptile exchange is probably my favorite thing in the comic for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I especially like the fact that that when Kotal is sent to assassinate Reptile, that we see this. That Reptile's awake and he's waiting for it to happen. And that you just see Kotal decide better of it right before he's about to do it and turn around and walk away. It's really nice. It really is. I love the respect that Reptile's being treated with, both by Kotal in the universe and by Sean Kittleson. It's a wonderful thing and I never want it to stop.
Yeah. Still, it would, even if Reptile continues in this role in future games, he's still just, the bad guy's lieutenant. He never really gets to move forward with any story of his own.
Well, like I said before, hurting Kotal Khan indirectly hurt a lot of characters around him. I feel like when Kotal Khan's character came off weak in the story mode, it hurt Ermac, it hurt Reptile. It didn't hurt Devora, but she had her own little horrible storyline going on. So
we're gonna talk about Devora in a moment here because she has a flashback in this issue too that I want to discuss.
Okay.
The next one is Ferrator's story, and it's basically.
First, I just want to mention I love how they introduce it. She's all like, "Remember our story? Want to hear it? Tor's favorite." And he's like, "Not now. I crave only solitude. Here goes!"
Yeah.
It feels almost like Killer Croc from the Batman animated series Poker episode.
Yeah, I threw a rock at him. It was a really big rock.
And then later they showed that episode. I'm like, oh shit, that actually happened. That's interesting. That is canon.
The dead eyes in their faces as they looked at him. Like,
yeah.
Talking. So yeah, continue.
Well, wait, you know what everybody always forgets about that episode of Batman? At the end, it turns out that Croc was Batman in disguise.
Yep. That
Which also makes
saying
sense.
He threw a rock at him. In a masterful bit of acting.
And if you haven't seen that episode before, you had, 15 years to watch it, so...
No excuses. None.
You'll forget about it if you do watch it, this will all be out of your mind.
Yeah, the statute of limitations on those spoilers is way expired.
Go watch the episode. It's a good one.
It's amazing. It's one of my top 5.
It's called We Almost Got Him.
Did you know that off the top of your head, or did you research
I knew it off the top of my head.
It's just almost got him. There's no way.
Almost got him. There you go.
Yeah. So anyway, basically Ferrator's story is that one day Tor and Farah were attacked in the wastelands by a bunch of Tarkatans and captured, and then Kotal just showed up and freed him. And ever since, they've been, working for him. It's real short.
They ate the Tarkatans, just so you all know.
Yes, that's also true.
Ew.
Yeah, it's basically just Farah and Tor remembering this really good meal they had the one time.
When they flash back to the present is when they tell them
Kotal
about
is remembering it fondly, like he's smiling and rubbing his chin and going, "Yes, dinner."
Devorah's like, "What about the stabby men?" "Dinner," he says with a pensive smile on his face.
So anyway, Devorah's story is basically a flashback to the time her realm was conquered and all the, her people, they're solitary and there was no leadership, so all they did was argue about how to defend themselves from Khan until he showed up, and then it was too late and he killed them all, and Devorah was all like, "Nah, I'm on your side. I would rather serve you than be part of this mess." So,
that fits. That's consistent with what we know.
Yeah, so, and it's basically, then it cuts to after Khan is dead and Melina being a shitty leader. Basically, Devorah, bowed to her, and Melina is just, kicked her in the face, and then was happy that she didn't fight back. Haha, you're completely subservient, you've proved your loyalty.
Yeah, asks her to prove her loyalty by kissing her boot. Which leads to the kick. What a bitch.
Well, the kiss ultimately later paid off with a whole story mode too, so she got her retribution big. And I guess now poetically.
Yeah, it does fit, doesn't it?
Preface this by saying that Devorah says at the outset of this that this one never respected Shao Kahn. The Khitan respect no leaders under any circumstances. And that really fits. So there's a little bit of foreshadowing going on there, which is very much appreciated.
Yeah, so then she said, then it cuts to the scene from story mode where everybody turns on Melina and overthrows her, except there are some artistic errors, like Kotal having the blue skin in this scene, but unimportant. The point
also, I think
is
they're
that
standing on a street, and I think that when they initially made the turn, or was that with Ermac? They were in a building. I don't know.
Yeah, they were in Devorah's apartment building, and Devorah fought Baraka in the street, but the rest of the fight was in the apartment.
Here you've got Reptile actually taking a jump at Kotal with a sigh, and Reptile taking the hit for him, which I don't remember happening in story mode.
Yeah, no, but
you can tell he was really just working off of a script. Poor Kittleson was.
Well, the dialogue in the scene is directly out of the game script. It's Melina going, "How dare you? I succeed Shao Kahn by his decree," and Kotal saying, "Succeed him you have, but Outworld demands new leadership," which are lines straight out of the story mode.
So yeah, just reading from script.
But the Devora basically says that the reason she decided to switch sides was when she saw Reptile's loyalty to Kotal, that he was willing to, defend him and take that side of the chest. And her point is that, tyrants like Shao Kahn rule with fear, but Kotal leads with respect, and that's why he's the only leader she's ever respected. And the reason I want to talk about all this is because, again, Devora's character no longer has a motivation the moment you learn that she's actually a mole for Quan Chi. Because if she was loyal to Kotal Khan for the entire game, then all of her scenes in the comic and in the game would make perfect sense. But the moment she turns out to be a traitor, it's like, how long has she been lying for, and what does she actually want? Because even in the flashback to MK2 when she fights Raiden, she says that she doesn't believe in any god. She's an atheist. So why is she serving Shinnok? I don't get her character anymore.
I kept trying to find reasons to like the character, but like I said, I don't think they know themselves. I think she was a mechanism to get the amulet back to Quan Chi to bring back Shinnok. And I think just by her design, I don't think the studio thought anyone would believe this character was good or had any sort of decent motive, respectable motive.
Yeah, but I don't need her to be good. I just need her to have a reason for doing the thing she does. Characters need to have motives.
Yeah, I agree with that.
She can say that she doesn't believe in Shinnok or gods or whatever, but she acknowledges that they exist. I think what they're trying to get across is that she doesn't actually worship them. I just look at her and I consider her
if you look at the way she's behaving in the scene where Quan Chi dies, and she obviously cares about something here. Either she's genuinely loyal believer of Shinnok's, or she's really loyal to Quan Chi, and then she's just continues to follow along after he dies because it's the job. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on in her head. She doesn't make sense.
Talented actor. An artist in the field of bullshit. Works for me.
Well, it
could be a whole Scorpion thing where maybe Shinnok will bring back my race, yada, yada, yada. I mean, that's possible maybe, but
her race isn't extinct, and she doesn't really like the others very much.
Yeah. I mean, I'm scraping here, but it's hard for me to even speculate because I know I'm a broken record, but I just don't like Devora. Don't like her. I wanted to, but
and I can't because she's fucking so shallow. Because that's what bugs me is she wouldn't be shallow.
I get what you do.
If the scenes where she was obviously pretending to be loyal to Kotal were her real motive, but now that we know she was faking the whole time, she's one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing under the act. There's no real character.
Even one-dimensional is fine if you do it right. I don't mind Veritor being one-dimensional, but
write in her bio what she actually fucking wants. That's all I fucking ask.
Kit Kat bar?
You give me Reptile's bio and it says his race is dead, he wants to bring them back. You give me Baraka's bio, it's Tarkatans respect strength and he's the leader. You give me, Melina's bio and it's she wants to replace Kitana. What does Devora want?
Maybe we'll find out next time.
Einhorn is a man.
What in the fuck?
Einhorn is a man.
Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn.
What are you referencing?
Oh my gosh.
It may or may not be Ace Ventura.
It's Ace Ventura.
Okay, it's been 15 years since I've seen that movie.
Laces out.
I remember Bumblebee Tuna, and I remember the Slinky, and I remember he forgot about Mr. Twinkie. That's what I remember Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
Okay. It was Einhorn,
yeah.
right?
Anyways, continue.
I don't know how we can. All I'm thinking about is Einhorn is a man now.
Crossing swords.
It's fine. It's better. It's better this way. Makes more sense than Devore does.
Anyhow,
So anyhow, when all their stories are done, the palace starts to shake, and they're like, "Is it an earthquake? Or the Orny warlords are tearing down the city?" And then your voice says, "Quite the opposite, mate. The cavalry is here to save you." And it's Kano, Jarek, Tazia, and Tremor.
good things about this image. Tazia looks amazing. I love her.
She's got a new costume, and it looks like a game costume, like it's this elaborate-looking armor.
It's really well designed, and I don't want to hold out hope. It's not going to happen. But, oh god, what if it did?
Tazia in the MKX, like in the game?
I want to believe. It's so nice looking. It's so nice. And you were the guy who at the start of this was like, we should look at costumes as indicators of what's going to be in the game. And I just feel like there's so much thought put into this one as opposed to something like Scarlet's. I know it's not going to happen.
I feel like at this point they're going, now everybody's making fun of the characters who have old or really simple costumes, so let's over-design everybody.
Maybe. But I wouldn't call hers over-designed. Hers is good.
Well, I mean,
I could see hers. I could see her in this. I like it.
It's a little bit Armageddon-y.
Not as much as
bad
Jarek
as Jarek's at all.
Jarek looks like garbage next to her in this thing. She looks good.
Well, that's because he's wearing his Armageddon outfit.
And it looks like it's too small for him. He's got this little clenched fist pose. It looks like he's struggling to get out of this undersized armor that's strapped around his torso.
It looks like he's struggling to see, like he's all squinting.
He also looks like he's like kind of clenching his legs and really needs to pee.
Yeah,
I don't even know what he's doing here. I don't know what's happening.
He's holding something in.
You just can't make Jarek look good. You can't. Even Kano looks off model here. He looks, I don't know.
Yeah, Kano's face looks a little weird.
He looks vaguely Mongolian. I don't know what. The hair looks wrong too.
Tremor is the DLC designed for Tremor, complete with the clown pants.
Those were the words that were about to leave my lips. Clown pants. He looks like he's wearing clown pants and a fucking face rag over his head. It doesn't, like, at least just in this image, it doesn't look anywhere near as decent as it does in the model.
Well, there's
the green pants.
I don't know
with
that I'd call it a good argument for the pants, but it's not necessarily a clown. I mean, they're just pinstriped. You could also, I mean, he reminds me a little bit of like Gilgamesh from the Final Fantasy games.
I guess.
Okay, all right.
I don't know, man. I think I still think Tazia is the best looking thing about this whole image.
You know, I really do like the Tremor design in the game, so I look forward to seeing that as well as Tazia. But I don't know. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing that actually in motion. I kind of dig the Tremor design quite a bit.
I don't think it's bad.
It doesn't look bad in the render, but here in this drawing, it just looks like someone put a tan steam cloth over his head and showed him out.
Yeah, it does sound pretty bad.
Well, there is... I mean, I feel like that is the weirdest thing about his design in the game. Like, his hood is just randomly attached to his shoulder pads. Like, if he were wearing a shirt, then the hood would make more sense. But, I mean... But then you'd lose the whole rocky chest look, which is, I mean, good for the character, I guess, to get across that whole Rockman thing he's got going on.
You could say his pecs are rock hard.
Oh shit. See what you did there.
Yeah.
Because he has rocks and pecs.
Well, there's that too, yeah.
I saw what you did there and I'm now blind.
He just looks like Shy Guy to me, and I like that.
Shy Guy.
He looks like a buffed out Shy Guy. Love it.
No, specifically, I think of the Sniffets, the ones that fire bullets.
The ones who shoot bullets out of their faces.
Because I think they actually he has like some form of like goggle equipment going on under that hood thing in the render. But here it looks like he's not wearing any kind of goggles or whatever. Like he's just
I had a feeling
eyes.
that was going to be the case. I had a feeling that once we saw him in game, that was just going to be Shadow. That I figured we were going to see his eyes, but I would have been okay either way. I wasn't partial one way or another. I would have probably preferred the eyes covered, but I don't know. Like, he's probably the only DLC character I'm still looking forward to. I'm kind of looking forward to Tanya, but I feel like I don't see myself using that character too much. I need to see her gameplay, really. That's what's exciting.
I don't want to use the word looking forward to Tanya because I expect them to fuck her up, but I'm sort of hoping for a good Tanya, you know? Because I want to play Tanya, but if it's all Orange Fire and Talim fucking Tonfas, blow me.
We already know she's got the Tonfas, and we already know at least one variation she's using Orange Fire.
Yeah, but if it's just limited to one variation, and she has a variation with Purple Fire and Vagina Neck Twists, then I'll be okay.
Okay.
I just want one variation that plays like MK4.
When do we think they're going to announce more DLC, if they're going to announce more DLC? Because I'm starting to get... I guess maybe after Predator would make sense.
I would think sometime after Predator.
Do we even think we're getting more DLC at this point? Does it seem like that's in the air at all?
Yes, it's gonna happen.
I think we'll get more.
They've even talked about like bandying back and forth like stages, thinking about classic stages,
and talking about stuff that they want to do. And
he just asked about like a Jean-Claude Van Damme skin for Johnny.
Yeah, because of the popularity of the Carl Weathers Jax idea.
To which I say incidentally, hell yes, make it happen.
I don't see why not.
They can get him.
It'd be a nice come full circle moment, but giggity. But yeah, I think there's gonna be more DLC.
I'm wondering where the Deception outfit for Sub-Zero is, because I thought that was a lock. But now I don't really know what to think, and that was the one costume I probably wanted more than anything else in the game.
I can live without it, but it'll put a big smile on my face if they do it. And the only reason I could live without it is because the Deadly Alliance one is in the game so prominently, because that's my favorite Sub-Zero, and Deception's basically second place.
And maybe I need to be careful what I wish for, because there's no guarantee it's going to look good if they bring it back, so...
Yeah, I mean... They could go really, really loyal with it and make it look sort of like a weird rubbery like the UMK3 outfit does. Or they could redesign the hell out of the Shredder helmet and make it not look as cool as it did anymore.
Yeah, I think both are very possible, but I don't know, like, you guys notice when you play me, I'm using a lot of characters. I'm not really sticking to any one. Sub-Zero on paper is still my main. He's probably my strongest character as well, but like I said...
I don't know if I've ever fought you while you were playing Sub-Zero.
I have. It was kind of scary and cool.
And I'm working on him. I like him a lot. I feel like that's what's really hurting this game, you know? Even before we talked about the comic a few days ago I was playing, I was thinking Scarlet would have been a really good fit for this game. I think she would have fit in well with the aesthetics and everything, but I feel like that's what's holding this game back so much is the roster, you know? I'm just kind of keeping my ear to the wall for DLC. I'm really hoping... Because I want to say Smoke's a lock. I feel like Smoke, in terms of popularity, is such a good runner-up. A Ninja is an obvious choice.
I kind of... If we get, like, a story pack, I think the only... I mean, there's obviously Baraka, Rain, and Sindel already have moves, so that's a thing.
But they're so copy and pasted. I mean, it looks like they put no effort into that.
Yeah, I know. They're just their MK9 moves. But again, it at least gives them a base to program from, whereas anyone else, they'd be sort of starting from scratch. I think just because there's no Cyber Ninja in the game, Cyrax has a better chance of coming back than Smoke.
But for me, Well, I mean, Cyrax should have a good chance. I mean, but because it was so ass backwards to not put a cyborg in the game to begin with, I just don't. That's telling to me. I'm not thinking they left Cyrax out because they're thinking, oh, we're going to wait for DLC. I think they just didn't want to put cyborgs in the game for some reason. I thought maybe they thought it didn't fit the image of MKX that they were going for. So,
which is completely bullshit because look at all the special forces shit in the game.
I know. It drives me nuts.
I think in large part we have almost kind of ourselves to blame, but also them to blame for that because the backlash against Cybersub was just so very strong. And I think that they kind of wanted to just
would punish Sector and Cyrax for that.
I think that they just wanted to keep the focus away from the robots just because of what happened last time.
What happened last time
they had to come up with a simple
character they made a dumb mistake with, and it wasn't that he was a cyborg that was a problem. It was that he wasn't Sub-Zero anymore that was the problem. Because Kuai Liang had the best story in MK3, and they just threw it out the window.
There's that. There's also the fact that he was a terrible fucking character to play as.
Yeah, he was bottom 5. Well, I mean, maybe you could argue maybe bottom 6, but who cares? After a certain point, it doesn't matter if you're 6 or 7 on the bottom tier list anymore.
I do agree, though, that there was a definite attempt to like stay away from cyber ninjas. I don't know why that is. I just think that they tried an experiment. It blew up in their faces, and they just said, "Let's just take a step back from all this for now. It's not the story that we want to tell anyway."
And Cyrax, yeah,
they had nothing last time except for shock factor for changing a beloved character into something different, and they knew that. They saw the heat coming, and they went, "Okay, let's just relent for this one. Let's just give them back the Kuai Liang that we love, that everyone seems to love, and just say the hell with the Cyber Ninja angle for now."
I just feel like at the end of the day, I don't know. If you're going to make a game about the Special Forces, which is essentially what we got, Cyrax would have been such a good fit. That would have been a great role for him to slip into, so I feel like it's such a missed opportunity, you know? Even more so than Kenshi. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still not over it. I mean, I love the game. I think in terms of gameplay, it is so good. Oh man, it's such a good game. But
here's what bugs me is there's between variations and non-canon costumes, there's a lot of greatest hits elements to this game. But that idea can't be fully realized with a less than 30 roster.
Yeah.
Like
and
if there were
new
40 to 45 characters in this game, then it would make sense to have like all these to be like from all across the history of Mortal Kombat, between all the intros where people are talking to alternate reality versions of themselves, and old man Liu Kang, and just all those things. It would work so much better if this were more like Armageddon.
Yeah.
Where it was like,
don't you ever say those words again. Not in that order.
You know what I mean though, like if this were to embrace the greatest hits concept. And I'm not saying 60 people, I don't need Dairu back.
I don't even need characters I like, I'm willing to give up. Like, I like Hotaru. I'm willing to be like, okay, fine, we can leave Hotaru. I'm willing to compromise. Hotaru, Cobra, I like Cobra. Kira, I really like Nitara a lot. I'm willing to put them aside. I'm like, all right, fine. You want to give us a good roster? I'm willing to put aside my favorites, but I wish it was balanced. It's not a balanced roster. It's 8 noobs and the MK2 cast. MK3 got no representation. Deception got no representation. Deadly Alliance
It is
yeah,
almost self-parody that they're going to do an MK3 tower in a week.
We'll be waiting to see how that works.
You had to fight Ermac like 10 times.
It'll be the tower we just had plus Ermac, yeah.
And Ermac does not even he's not even an MK3 character in my heart.
He's an NPC Sindel fight. NPC Sindel fight.
3 bars a meter, I don't give a shit. She doesn't have an X-ray. I'm going to do whatever I want.
Oh, she will use those 3 bars to EX that thing where she flips over your head and then kicks you in the butt.
Oh no, 40% damage.
NPC Rain. Don't forget NPC Rain.
Even that isn't... Because he's still not an MK3 character in my heart, you know? I mean, the MK3 guys are Striker, Cabal, Nightwolf, Sindel, who I guess is kind of represented.
Technically,
That's the
picture on the menu looks like a UMK3 cabinet, so they can
still
do
no
that.
Rain. Still doesn't get Rain in there.
He was technically in there. I mean,
he was in the attract screen.
Some people a lot of people, myself included, consider Smoke an MK2 character. Granted, his playable appearance was 3, but, you know, it's where they first show up that matters to me, playable or otherwise. And
But the
Rain
difference-
showed up
In my head, there's 2 Smokes, you see. That's why. Like, Smoke is an MK2 character. Cyber Smoke is an MK3 character. I like Cyber Smoke better.
But Smoke's origin was an MK2, though. Ermac's origin was an MK1. So that's kind of where the difference is for me.
Fair.
Yeah, Ermac is kind of an MK1 character, sort of.
Which is brilliant if you're remaking Mortal Kombat 1 as a game and you're putting Ermac in there, but they didn't even really do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I don't know. It doesn't work when you also throw in Human Sector and Cyrax and Nightwolf and Shiva for some reason, and, you know, it's sort of... It stops being a clever, hey, let's put the rumor guy in thing, and more like, let's throw a bunch of shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Turns out it's all of it, but I guess we should get back to the comic. Was there anything else?
No, that was the end of the last issue, was the Black Dragons showing up to save Kotal Khan from the Shokan, for some reason.
Well, it's cool seeing Scarlet. Like, I really do think she would have been.
It would have been cool seeing Scarlet if she didn't look retarded.
Yeah, she looks pretty bad. I mean...
You should, ask Taja for some fashion tips. Someone's like...
Taja just kind of raided Melina's wardrobe, it looks to me.
She's got the shoulder pads, it's true. Without those, she'd stand out a little bit more.
She sort of put an undershirt on under the breastplate.
And, some groin protection. And that looks to be solid steel cage.
Well, she's going into battle against Johnny, maybe, so...
Comes prepared. Gotta love her. But that's it for the comic.
Yeah, that was... We can talk about the 20-some endings that we didn't get to last...
Well, you've got
right.
28 minutes.
Awesome.
You have seen them all, Shadowloo.
Just power these
They're
in.
all done. They've been done for 2 weeks now.
If we pick the good ones, that's like 4 endings, right? Like,
I'm glad you waited until right after the show about endings to finish seeing all the endings.
I only have so many hours in a day. Should we just cut the crap and get right to Katanas? Because it's the one worth talking about. The one that's really worth talking about.
Yeah,
The
all
one
the
that
others
makes
are
me
basically,
freak
this
the
isn't
fuck
happening
out.
in the next game. But Kitana's is actually relevant to continuity.
Mm-hmm. In a big way.
So, the first thing I enjoy is that... Okay, so the premise of Kitana's ending is that she has a dream about how the timeline would have gone after Armageddon if Raiden hadn't changed history. And in it, Shao Kahn dies at Kitana's hands. Like, he does not succeed in destroying the universe. So, basically, Raiden is that retarded. But anyway, then Kitana wakes up from this dream to realize, oh yeah, that didn't happen. I'm dead. I'm a NetherRealm revenant, and it's Raiden's fault. And then you find out that the reason she had the dream is because Jade's ghost gave it to her, which, like, hey, remember how Jade was a revenant too in the last game, and then didn't show up at all in this game? That's weird, isn't it?
I didn't get that. I'm not going to lie. I didn't quite understand what they were going for.
We
Are
can
they
look at it-
saying...
Well, you have to remember Jade's ending from MK9.
I remember, but I didn't get that either. That didn't make any sense to me at the time either, so...
Well, that's
They're
because
building-
Jade's ending from MK9 contains a character who we've never seen before.
But who apparently still kind of matters.
Apparently.
So, looking back, I guess you can safely disregard the part of MK9's ending where you see Jade as a revenant, because for whatever reason, this doesn't seem to be the case anymore. She's nor in story mode. And
Well,
this
here's
is
what I think happened.
She's off in cahoots with this mysterious other lady who wants to reimagine Shao Kahn's demise.
Well, now, Jade clearly did still die in MK9.
Yeah.
It's just apparently somehow, while she was in Quan Chi's service, she just fucking disappeared and nobody cared.
She just woke up in this chamber with this chick, if I remember with her MK9 ending right.
Well, it was sort of inside her mind, because what really happened is the chick possessed her.
This is going to be one of those, it's hard to place exactly what goes on, but the point is scenarios.
Yeah. And the point is that Jade, as a Revenant, just kind of doesn't work for Quan Chi, because she's possessed by some sort of new character we still have not actually been introduced to, who can see the way the future was supposed to go, and wants to unreboot. Which I'm 100%
I'd play that
down
game.
for.
Yeah, I'd be all over that.
I think we're leading up towards your crisis. It's going to happen.
Yes, that's it. I would... If MK11 was the old timeline versus the new timeline, shut up and take my money.
Yep. I mean, I'm a fool with money, and I'm going to give you my money anyway, NRS, but I'm just saying, double you up.
Yeah. You know what? I told Ed on Twitter when MK9 was coming out, remember when he released that picture of Scarlet's leg and we didn't know what character it was going to be because it was just a teaser? There was a lot of speculation that was going to turn out to be Serena. I said, Ed, I'll buy 2 copies if it's Serena. Wasn't Serena. I actually didn't buy a copy of MK9. It was given to me as a birthday present, but I would have bought 2 copies. Same rules apply. If MK11's a crisis story, I'll buy 2 fucking copies.
I should have tweeted him. I should have been like, hey, Ed, if you take out all my favorite characters, I'll buy 2 copies of the game, because that's what I fucking did. So, yeah, that's my vote. That's my...
I tweeted both Ed and John Vogel, and I said, MK9's Jade ending, Kitana's MK10 ending. I see some big things happening in the future. And it got a favorite.
Nice.
It's happening. Something's happening. They're building
Better be.
up. That's about it. That's the only really... well, no, you know what? Shinnok's ending is kind of noteworthy, I guess.
It's about what I expected.
It's one of those, this is not canon by any way, shape, or form endings, but it's kind of cool to see it happen.
It says a bit about Shinnok.
It's sort of weird, because Okay, so the Shinnok's ending basically says that, first of all, the Elder Gods are also pieces of the One Being. Which, I mean, if that's the case, then why do they hate him? Did they kill him? The origin story is a little unclear then.
Well, that's not what I got from it. I got from that Shinnok wanted to reunite the One Being so he could feed the Elder Gods to him. That's what I got from it.
Yeah, pretty much. But as I remember in MK Deception's Conquest mode, when you talk to NPCs, they basically said at the beginning of time there was the One Being and the Elder Gods, that they weren't part of it.
Yeah, like the premise is basically that the One Being is equivalent to the Christian God, and the Elder Gods is equivalent to angels. Except in this version, Lucifer's rebellion actually succeeded, and the Big Bang was caused by God's death.
See, I always thought of it more as is it Brahm? The Hindu god is more of what I saw the One Being as. But I guess that's technically... I think you're actually closer than... Because the Christian god makes more sense, because Brahm is not technically sentient, from what I understand. It's not that we're all part of Brahm, we need to be reunited with him. It's that the idea that we're individuals at all is an illusion. And once we get over that illusion, realize we're just all part of the... Is it Brahma or Brahm? If there's any Hindus listening, I'm so sorry. I really am. I want to get this right, but I think
it's a mishmash of a lot of things. I'm just using Christian metaphors because that's what I imagine most of the listeners would be able to relate to.
They're accessible for sure. Yeah.
Anyway, so for those of you who wanted to see who always wanted to see what the One Being looked like, he's a big blue face in the clouds. Enjoy.
Which is also what the Elder Gods looked like in MK4.
Yeah, exactly. To a T.
Big blue faces in the clouds, common imagery. But anyway, why does the one being not eat Shinnok in that ending?
I figured he kind of did afterward.
I don't really know what the end game is.
So Shinnok's motivation is that he wants everything, including himself, to cease to exist?
It would make sense given like they're kind of reimagining him as having this major death fetish in specific.
Yeah, but I felt like the death thing was because he rules the realm of the dead. So if everything dies, then he's the king of everything. But non-existence is not the same as death.
I guess now they're painting him as kind of the ultimate nihilist.
I guess. It's confusing and inconsistent. Much like the Johnny Cage ending, where he finds a book that explains how Edenians live so long, but Edenians live so long because their ancestors are gods, and you can't learn that from a book.
Well, there could be something interesting here. Like, maybe Shinnok has this Kierkegaardian desire to die, and this is the only way he can do it, and that actually was his endgame. There's an interesting idea there, but I don't see it ever being articulated more than what we've got.
Yeah,
and that makes it kind of useless.
They sort of tend to drop the ball with villains' motives, because, I mean, Shao Kahn, characters existed for 25 years, and I still don't know why he wants to merge realms.
I figure it's because he wants
for sure.
He wants to rule everything. It's better to have everything close to your thumb than.
How did he get that way? Like, Batman got the way he got because he watched his parents die. You see what I'm saying? Like, there has to have been an incident that formed his personality, and
maybe
Shao Kahn has no origin story.
Die.
He poisoned his liege, Onaga. He's an asshole. I don't feel like. Honestly, I don't think that everything needs explaining. Look at Kefka in FF6. You can get an origin for him, but it doesn't really add to his character. The point of him is he's an asshole and a bastard, and that's why you like him.
Yeah, well, he has a good origin, in my opinion. His motivation is that he's a sadist, so his motivation is pleasure. He takes real joy in destruction. Like, it's an actual mental disorder. So Kefka actually makes a lot of sense to me.
For Shao Kahn? I'd say that his disorder is just megalomania.
For Shao Kahn, we have half of an origin. It's unfinished. We know he used to be the protector god of Outworld. We know that one day he decided, fuck it, I'd rather be king. And we know that after that he decided, I would rather be king of all the realms, so I'm going to conquer them and merge them with mine. We don't know why.
He's an asshole.
Yeah, but
he was always an asshole.
He wasn't always an asshole.
He used assholes.
When he was the protector god, he wasn't the way he is now. That's actually established in Deception.
Are you sure?
But they don't explain what changed him. It's like he just suddenly went mad for no reason.
That's kind of how the one being operates, though.
Protector god means inherently good.
But I think the one being just kind of got in his head. Like, that's how the one being operates. He gets into your subconscious and makes you do things that benefit him, you know? So,
like, look at Dark Raiden.
Okay,
Raiden under his dark status. He's a protector god, but he's also incredibly destructive, and he will fuck anything up that gets in his way. I think you're giving, like, Khan as protector god.
Are you talking about regular Raiden or Dark Raiden?
Just Dark Raiden here.
Okay, well, Dark Raiden became Dark Raiden for a reason, like a thing happened to him.
This is true.
And, okay, even if you assume, okay, Shao Kahn's just an asshole, and that's his whole personality, is that he's just a mean guy, and that's why he does what he does, why does he want daughters? Where does that come from?
He's probably not completely immortal.
So, why would you want an heir who's female?
Mm-hmm. Thinks chicks are hot.
What is it with him and specifically Katana and Melina?
Specifically Katana and Melina?
There's a place for characterization to go that they have never put something there. That's what bugs me.
Okay. I'm just saying. I think you're going to be beating yourself up about these details for a long time.
Well, that's the key. They're never
if you were ever gonna fix Shao Kahn, like explain his origin story, MK9 would have been the time to do it. Because now Shao Kahn is dead. And again, it's the same with Shinnok. If ever you were going to explain why Shinnok is the way he is, you do it in the game where Shinnok is the boss. Because in future games, now he's a cut off head flopping around like a fish.
Yeah, he's in Sector's boat
his
now.
personality doesn't matter in the future games because he's been finished. His time is over, and we're moving on to the next guy.
Really interesting to see.
Shao Kahn, like Shao Kahn needed fixing, like he's inherently broken.
I think a character with only half an origin story is inherently broken.
Kefka says different things.
I still think Kefka kind of has an explanation, but
I think Kefka is far more fleshed out. I think
he has, like...
Even so, honestly, I don't like Final Fantasy VI as much as most people do.
You take that back.
I'm just saying, sometimes the crux of a character being a good villain is just the fact that he's that much of a badass, and that's why you like him. I don't need everything explained and spoon-fed to me.
Well, we may need to retread here. The thing about Final Fantasy VI is that...
The only time I've ever liked Shao Kahn, and this is dating way back to the 90s, was, like, the Malibu comic about Kitana's origin story. Like, that one time Shao Kahn showed, like, fatherly love, I was all like, I want to know more about this guy. And that's the Shao Kahn we never get.
I think we may have hit a roadblock.
Yeah.
We may have
We've gone so far off the track about endings now.
Well, I think we talked about the ones that mattered. A lot of the endings don't have much to say anyway. My big thing is I would rather see Shinnok before he became the Death God. I would have really liked to have seen that. You know, a Shinnok in a day where Raiden and him were comrades. That would have been really interesting to me. But I don't know. Like Razor said, the time's passed. And honestly, like, they're running out of room. They can't really tell a whole story. Look how disjointed MKX was. We're beyond the days where they could kind of flesh out backstory like they did with Conquest and Deadly Alliance. I think those days are just over. The days of details, that era has ended.
Fucking bio. How hard is that?
I honestly think it's too hard for them. I don't think they're willing to flesh out that aspect anymore. I think they're just done. They just want a cinematic presentation. That's all they're about now. I really think they're just finished with that aspect of MK.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah, it's incredibly disappointing. It's horrible.
No, it's more than disappointing. It's to the point where I kind of would like to see this franchise in a different company's hands. I'm kind of done seeing what these guys have. Like, yeah. I still respect Ed and everything, and I love what they've done up until this point, but I'm sort of ready for, like, for a thing that will never happen, which is, like, well, a thing that already did happen 5 years ago and didn't amount to anything, which is company goes out of business, franchise ends up in another company's hands.
Well, WB, unfortunately.
But it did amount to great things, what we have now.
Yeah,
well,
no, I mean,
it's the best
like,
that could have happened, yeah.
I like MKX, but I sort of...
I don't think you're ever going to...
I just feel like it needs fresh blood. It's like, as a comic book reader, when a guy's run ends and another writer comes in and starts his run, I wish there were a changing of the guard of that kind that could happen creative team-wise. Because I'd like to see what someone else would do with it now.
I don't think John Vogel's writing the story anymore. He's given it his okay, but they've got a whole team of writers. We've had the changing of the guard now, and it's sadly to lesser hands.
He seems more like an editor.
This is probably the second changing of a guard. Tobias, Vogel, now these dudes he's supervising.
But again, he's still supervising, and Ed's supervising them, and
I don't blame John for, like, honestly, I don't think that Ed's supervising anything.
And frankly,
I think Ed's
created by committee are always worse anyway. Like, it would be nice if we could go back to the smaller teams.
Well, I feel like Ed Boon is absolutely the culprit here, because I keep thinking, I think this happened with MK9 as well. John Vogel and his buddies wrote probably a 150-page script, and Ed Boon's like, great, make it 75 pages. That's what I think keeps happening. Like, I don't think these guys are ever going to get a chance to tell a fully fleshed out story again. And it's because of the presentation, because of the cinematics. I feel like when I look at MKX, I know I've said this in the previous episodes, it looks like a half-finished story to me. it feels like 3 episodes of a show. It does not feel like a movie to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it a decent blockbuster with about 25 minutes edited out.
Kind of like Age of Ultron?
Boom, was going to say it.
Just a little bit.
No, I don't know that Age of Ultron is an accurate comparison, because Age of Ultron at least feels like a 3-act story. Like, it feels like a motion picture. Again, this does feel like episodes of a TV show.
Age of Ultron specific. Well, I guess the difference is, I feel like in Age of Ultron there were plot and dialogue that were just sucked out of it with a vacuum. And this, it felt like there were characters and events that were sucked out with a vacuum. It feels choppy. It feels like entire sections were missing.
The thing is, it feels like we're jumping into the middle of like a cast that we are supposed to have already kind of gotten to know. Like the whole idea of 25 years has passed, and here's Cassie and Jackie's team now. I feel like those are the characters you'd follow in a season of a cartoon. And we're seeing like the season finale of that cartoon.
Although I will say this though, like even if you do put it all together and you get the final version out there, the Joss Whedon final edition of MKX, then I still have problems with Cassie being the centerpiece, of course. Like, I don't feel like she was strong enough to hold the story. And little things like that are going to still bother me. But that's, I mean, I stick to my score, though.
Cassie is like the main character. I
like it as an experience.
She could have used
the character cameos. What's up?
I kind of do feel like the chapters should have maybe started and ended with her. She didn't get nearly enough build-up. I'm okay with the character. It's just that, no, story mode didn't do a good enough job of fleshing her out.
See, I like the way it sort of starts with, like, the very first thing that happens in MKX is it's showing where her powers come from by showing Johnny as a hero defeating Shinnok. Then we cut to her, and we establish, okay, here's her team, and the big conflict for her is that, you know, Jin is an asshole and doesn't listen to her, and she's sort of trying to learn to become a good leader. And then it just sort of skips ahead to the end where all this other stuff happens in the middle that's not about Cassie at all. And then we get to Cassie's big hero moment at the end, and it's like she just sort of became the leader because time passed. And like,
her father was now in a giant bug suit. So now shit is real. I gotta kill Shinnok, and that's what it felt like to me, you know.
Well, it's sort of like she didn't. I don't know. I feel like there could have been like more trials in the middle where Cassie was the hero. Like, I mean, you know, you've got this part where Kung Jin turns out to be like this, you know, wise diplomat guy, and that's fine for his character. And then you've got this part where Takeda's the one who frees them in the ship, which is fine for his character, but none of this adds to developing Cassie into the main hero of the game. She just happens to sort of be there during those chapters, standing in the background, which is sort of the problem with the ensemble nature of Mortal Kombat story modes.
It's actually really sad. They've inherited their parents' problems, her and Jackie. Both just kind of there to fill out the roster of good guys.
This is an interesting... I know we're working backwards here, but for one more ending I did want to talk about, probably one of my favorite endings, was Kotal Khan's, where the idea of the tournament being reinstated for Outworld versus Earth.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting.
Is, yeah. The thing is...
Yeah, go on.
And I'm not accusing them of, like, taking my ideas or anything, but, like, 5 or 6 years ago, I was all over the MKO going, you know what would have been a cool idea if Dark Raiden challenged another realm to Mortal Kombat, and, like, all the Earth people didn't realize they were the bad guys in the tournament.
That would not be a bad idea for a sequel. I would kind of like to see that. I would like to see Dark Raiden's tournament against Outworld. That would be a really cool reversal, in my opinion. Yeah, and that shot was brilliant. That shot at the end where it shows Kotal's warriors. Oh my god, that was a good shot.
Yeah.
Can't remember if Devora was in it or not. I hope not. I don't believe
so.
Thank God. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. That was my favorite ending by far.
Well, who knows, Razor? They listen to us. They take our ideas on board. Smoke and MK9 turned out exactly the way I was pushing for him for like the past 10 years. So, probably.
The anime hair was your idea?
Possibly.
I want to see it back.
I
like anime hair.
I remember making a large blog post. Like MK9 post.
If it really looks like anime hair, I might be able to get behind it. But that, just the greasy girl hair from MK9 was just poorly modeled.
No, I was like, give him a hit-and-run play style, make him really fast, focus on teleports, and lo and behold, we have what we have. Yes, I created Smoke.
Your $5 check every year.
If only.
Yeah, no, that's why
this.
I think he has a good chance. I think there's a very strong... Because they're going to bring a ninja for DLC. That's free money, and they're already making so much money off the sales alone of the game, and then the microtransactions, and the whole making you make like 200.
You say they're gonna do a ninja, but Rain is a ninja.
Shit.
Yeah.
Don't say these things. They said no repeat DLC. They said no repeat DLC. They said no repeat DLC. They say a lot of things.
They said you wouldn't pay money for repeat DLC.
Well, I got some shout-outs to make. Was there anything else you guys wanted to cover before?
Briefly, I should have mentioned Kung Lao and Kung Jin's
Kung Lao and Kung Jin.
Their endings that kind of go together, because he sort of helps them to overcome the revenant side of himself.
After the end of the game, Jin goes to the NetherRealm, finds Kung Lao, and has him do meditation until he's not evil anymore.
Pretty much. So if Kung Lao is fine and dandy next time,
everybody who's all like, Scorpion is an idiot for killing Quan Chi because only Quan Chi can fix the Revenants, fuck you.
No, I was pro-Scorpion that whole time. Because you can't fucking manipulate
There
Quan
is no
Chi.
universe where I buy the idea that only Quan Chi can reverse the Revenant process. I'm sorry. I've been playing Mortal Kombat for almost 25 years. That's not how resurrection works in this series.
Even if it was true, you're not gonna... He's the mastermind of manipulation. You can't control Quan Chi. You can't make him do shit. That's gonna backfire.
Well, I think their plan was probably to drag him back to his chamber and kick him in the nuts while Raiden casts spells again.
More quick time events. More!
They would have, resurrected Shao Kahn and then give him the ooze from Ninja Turtles 2 and he would have turned into fucking Super Shredder. It would have been horrible. It would have backfired so fucking badly. And then a fucking dock would have fallen on him and then, I don't know, what do I know, but...
For the record, I thought that Super Shredder was really awesome as a kid. More spikes, man.
I thought he was awesome for 10 seconds.
Yeah, the 10 seconds he was on screen. I had his action figure. That was an exciting time for a child.
So action figure is the only way you're going to see him because you couldn't see him in the damn movie.
Do you know he was played by Kevin Nash?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, with the dock fell on him, he tore his quad, and that's why he had to leave the movie.
All right, well, I got shout-outs, guys. First of all, Redman. I shouted out, a few of the other guys last week, or the week before, and good matches with them. I wanted to play Redman. I haven't played him yet. He was very strong in MK9. Really good matches, and really good connection until the very end. At the very end, the netco was like, you guys are done.
Anyone, more than just you and Django. Because I can't beat either of you, and that's sad for me. It would be nice to just have more names on the list.
It's coming. We're doing the live stream soon. And I want to give all the big players, a heads up and a hard date for when we can do that so we can get a really good stream going. But really good matches, really good character diversity. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with Aaron. You guys need to see his Aaron Black corner game. Because when you're in the corner against his Aaron Black, it's the fucking 4th of July. You're not getting out of there without a really good guess, and even then you're coming out with scars. It's really interesting. And we got a taste of it at the ESL tournament, but yeah, there's some cool shit in this game, and I'm ready to see it on stream. I'm so ready. So shout outs to that guy. Really good matches. Also shout outs to Digit at Texas Showdown. We had a really good top 8. I wasn't there, unfortunately, but Texas took it. The grand finals, I believe, were against it was Digits, Raiden, and I said Raiden was the best character in the game, and I still believe that. I could be wrong, but I still believe that. versus, now, wait for it. I'm going to say Chris G's Kung Jin, but it's not Bojitsu. He used Ancestral, and it was really interesting. Clearly the inferior variation, but it looked really cool. People were dogging on him, like, why is he using the shit variation? But he played it a lot like his Injustice Green Arrow, and it was very fascinating to watch. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he refines that. If he sticks to it, he got second place. The guy knows what he's doing. Chris Chi was even very strong in MK9. He had a very good reptile, but good stuff. Also, like the whole Houston crew really did a great job in general. Scar Sonya did really good, of course. Kat, I believe, got top 16 with Grandmaster Sub-Zero. Really surprised there were no Sub-Zeros or Quan Chis in the top 8, but yeah, really good stuff from them. So shout outs to my home state. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Anything else, guys?
Shout outs to Wilson Family, aka Axeman, also Smoke Man, Red Man, Guts Man, Elect Man, Ice Man, Fireman, Crash Man, Flash Man.
Gotta get equipped.
So on and so forth for about 10 games. And fuck you, Konami. That's right. Fuck you, Konami.
Yeah, seriously, fuck Konami.
Do you really need to bother? Konami's fucking themselves as we speak.
They're just getting out of the business, and they're leaving all their fans in the water. And doesn't matter. We're gonna have a wonderful new Castlevania. I've backed it on Kickstarter. So should you all. It's gonna be amazing.
Well, we're not gonna have a wonderful Silent Hills.
No, we're
not. That kills me inside. I pray to God Cyborg downloaded that fucking demo before they took it off. Because Cyborg, if you didn't, you're buying a $2,000 PS4 on eBay. I'm just saying.
I never got around to it, and obviously I'm never going to, but you know what? I'd rather bask in the memory of a thing I know could never be than play 10 minutes of a thing I know could never be for the rest of my life.
Well, the thing about PT is the gameplay is just walk down a hall, so you could just watch a playthrough on YouTube and get the same experience.
Oh, man, but I played it, and it's a great experience to watch someone else play it, but when you're behind the wheel doing it yourself, dude,
yeah, it does. I understand the difference. I'm just saying, if you missed out.
It got points where I didn't want to walk forward anymore. I just didn't want to move because I was so messed up in the head. Oh, God, it was so good. Oh, man, that was almost as bad as, that's a tragedy.
On the topic of Silent Hill, I've got a Pyramid Head Figma on its way to my door. Really awesome new hyper detail posable figure. This will be the last time Konami sees any of my money.
Well, hopefully Konami won't cancel it before it gets to your door.
Nope, it's shipped. It's shipped. They can't take it away. They can't. They took everything else. They took Silent Hill.
Well, Phantom Pain is still coming out, right?
It'd be funny if it didn't. Like, I would just laugh all day.
That it is, but it's actually the only, major Konami franchise I was never big on.
I love Metal Gear, but I think it would be hilarious if they cancel it and David Hayter just fucking revels in it. But
isn't one of the Kickstarter...
Yes, it is. David Hayter's going to be voicing somebody in Bloodstains, the game.
Can we talk about that name? Bloodstained Ritual of the Night?
Gee, I wonder what they're aiming for.
I didn't get the joke until I was watching Ultra David and James Chen on their show, but hot damn, dude. What the hell?
I want him to step on their toes until they almost feel compelled to sue him. Hell, they must already almost feel compelled to sue him.
It's not even a good name, but
something something of the night.
We already know.
Where have I heard this before?
We already know what it's really called. And you know what the beautiful thing is? The name Dracula is in the public domain. They can still have games with Dracula if they want. Konami can't do shit about it. Fuck you, Konami.
Well, that's all I got.
All right, and that's all we got for episode 29. So thanks everyone for tuning in. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, of course, on Twitch, all under Netherkast, I believe. I don't think there's anything special about the naming. I think we got Netherkast on all of those. So thank you everybody that has liked us on Facebook. We keep getting likes every week. It keeps coming in. So that's pretty cool. I definitely very cool of you guys. Somehow the word continues to spread.
We will try to earn them in the future.
I will try to get back to you.
The past 29 episodes have perhaps not deserved the love we're being shown.
What's that?
I will try to get back to you people about, like, the details of the tournament to win my discarded Mortal Kombat Conquest DVDs. My discarded Region 2 Mortal Kombat Conquest DVDs. We have yet to... Because I got a message on Test Your Mind about that, because someone wanted to know whether or not it was going to be, like, a Region 2 specific competition for, like, European players who would actually be able to play the DVDs, or if it was just going to be North American, or I don't know. Because by default, I was thinking North American because I am a North American, sadly. We like to call ourselves cold Canadians. But, no, we'll see about that. I'll discuss it with the guys here, and we'll get back to you hopefully next time.
All right, well, that'll do it, and adios.
Take care.
Remember. Okay.
That's the most delayed exit ever, so...
Remember, okay.
Fatality.